to another episode in my gem series. Today I'm going to talk about crystal systems. There are 7 systems that crystals will occur in the rough form, and so they all have different characteristics that will help you identify them. We have the cubic, tetragonal, hexagonal, trigonal, orthorhombic, monoclinic, and triclinic. And so I have just like a few out of those crystal systems. And I'll start off where I left off the other day was with quartz. I mentioned the other day that the rock crystal quartz, clear quartz, will occur in prismatic form, and it will display horizontal striations on its prism faces. Its prism typically occurs in a hexagonal shape, and it will be capped by 6 semi-triangular crystal faces. The pinacoids, which are the caps, which are the flat faces of the caps, will have different growth features. They will exhibit, sometimes they will exhibit triangles, and that would be an etching that would be called record keepers. That is something the industry collectors like to coin those little bits there. So with crystal quartz, it occurs more in prisms. It's very recognizable and it's very popular. People will instantly almost think that anything in a prism is quartz. I don't blame them. So, and I mentioned the other day that not all quartz kind of comes in prisms like that. Like amethyst very often will occur in smaller crystals that aren't double terminated like that. They're just different. They're influenced by their trace element, iron. The iron, the more iron or less iron kind of dictates whether it goes on, like if there's more heat introduced in the growth process. Heat already made this quartz turn it purple into amethyst. If there was further heat in its growth, it would turn either orange or green. So that just depends on how much iron is in there. So, and to get a little bit more scientific, that is ferric, you'll have citrine. Ferrous, you'll have prasiolite. That is green quartz, incorrectly often termed green amethyst. And that is because, kind of like I mentioned the other day, there's confusion with fluoride on that aspect. When they grow, again, the introduction of heat will change the color. So, for example, if you had a purple and green quartz crystal, that would be amethyst on prasiolite, because they didn't occur at the same time, you know, like fluorite would, or like tourmaline. That is due to that heat. Like if you have purple on top of green, you can't have green on top of purple. It would be a secondary growth influencing the color of the primary growth. So, and ametrine is actually pretty rare because of that situation. Another rare quartz form is going to be rose quartz. Rose quartz very often does not have recognizable crystalline features. It is more oftentimes found as large masses. That's why you can have a huge tub of rose quartz if you've ever seen one of those pictures, or a throne of rose quartz. They're not oftentimes crystallized like this. I got these rare pieces of rose quartz. It's a little flat, so you can't really see the reflections of the crystal terminations, but regardless, quartz will have the hexagonal prismatic form, which will it'll have the six-sided pyramid cap. So that's quartz. Other gems in the trigonal system will be tourmaline. It's very popular as well, so that's why I'm going to start with that one next. There's a few different types, but the most popular type is definitely elbite. Elbite is most recognizable. So and I'll go further with that. So these crystals I picked up in a dig in California when I was there doing my labs. They're very small, so I hope that I can get some kind of reaction on this. So with the larger one here, you can see its prismatic form. Tourmaline occurs in prisms as well. You can see it has vertical striations that run up the crystal. And then it's terminated. This one has the termination. It will be terminated by 3 pinacoids. As you can see, the crystal prism is shaped in a rounded triangular shape. So it's not like a perfect sharp triangle, but you can see that it is triangular. So the 3 caps, the pyramid caps, will have 3 faces there. I think I can get it. Yeah, there's the reflection. So also, so with different types of quartz, tourmaline, let me get off the quartz train. These are green, and also this one has a dark cap. That is very common in elbite species. You'll have watermelon tourmaline, which has a pink core and a green outside. Lots of times you'll have crystals that are capped with that different color, like that one. My favorite are pink crystals with blue caps. And then you'll also have another type that you've probably seen before. It's called schorl. It is black tourmaline. They're typically a lot larger. They're very common in like Germany. That's the name. It's also a protective stone. But they will still exhibit the vertical striations, and since it's a little larger, sometimes the crystals are they're damaged. I haven't seen one that has a perfect cap like this elbite that I have. Another type of tourmaline is called lidocotite. Its colors, in one piece, it can have like 4 or 5 different colors: yellow, green, blue, pink, purple, or darker tones of those colors. And its coloring is reflected by its the pyramidal growth of the crystal. So how I showed you that cap, the color forms as it grows in this type of way as it goes further and further up. The others, let me just say, it's just due to their chemical makeup. So the elbites and lidocotites are lithium rich, and like schorl is an iron rich, and iron really has a lot to do with lots of colors. So, and then with tourmaline, you'll have another one that is it's called petrotourmaline. It's called dravite, is the normal one, and that will be the yellow-brown ones. I have a few beads like that. They're a nice, warm, fall type color of yellow. So, but all the same, they have vertical striations, and essentially they are always colored by these trace minerals. It's very rare that that tourmaline will occur clear. And as I mentioned the other day, I'll just touch on, is if the crystal is clear, like is colorless, that is a more pure form of the crystal. So any kind of color is telling you that there are trace elements influencing its color. So, and let's see. So another gemstone in the trigonal system is corundum, which is ruby and sapphire. And sapphire is typically blue, and then if you have a different color, it will be named by the color that it is, like purple sapphire or pink sapphire or orange sapphire. You have colorless sapphire, which is completely clear of its trace elements. Sapphire is an aluminum-rich stone, and the color is influenced by whatever trace element. So here I have a piece of marble that is embedded with a tiny little ruby crystal here, and I think this will work. There she is. There it is. Unfortunately, it's really small and I cannot really show you any of its crystal features that help identify it, but I can tell you. So like the other trigonal systems, the corundum family will occur hexagonal in a hexagonal prism oftentimes. It will also either be a tablet, a very small stubby crystal. These forms will have different different crystal features. So the barrel-shaped double terminated crystals are normally colored sapphire or blue sapphire, and they're characterized by they're kind of a barrel shaped, so they're wider in the center, and then on the tips they're going to be narrower, and that is called bipyramidal. So two pyramids connected at their bases is typically is kind of, if you can imagine. So, and those will exhibit the horizontal striations similar to quartz, and then you'll have tablets. In the roadside digs in the North Carolina mountains, you'll have lots of those for sapphire and ruby. These are characterized, like I said, they might be hexagonal in shape, but oftentimes, because these are found in like alluvial deposits, like old riverbeds and creeks and stuff, they don't have like an exact crystal feature. But most tablets, if you do find them, they will have triangles on the bottom or top of the crystal, and then the sides will have horizontal striations as well. But they typically are just really flat crystals. They are typically will be cut the way they are found, so they're going to be flat crystals. That happens to ruby a lot. So they still display the trigonal crystal system characteristics, like the triangle, and the striations as well. The the elements that influence those colors, ruby is influenced by, if it has too much iron, it's a darker red, but a nice rich red is from chromium and also vanadium. Vanadium is a cool element that oftentimes makes crystals change colors, but also if it's not in the crystal lattice to change the color, like for example, alexandrite changes from colors. Sapphire has color change. The more vanadium, it can cause color change. So you can have a crystal that is like a bluish color, and in a different light it will change to a reddish color. So vanadium is a really cool element. And then for sapphire, you have titanium and iron as well. So very interesting stones there. Yeah. So iron and titanium for blue, and chromium for red. Vanadium in any of those will help with color change, and also fluorescence. Like if you have a UV light, it'll glow, and it's really cool. So next, I'm moving out of the trigonal crystal system. Another crystal in that system will be calcite. I don't have a calcite crystal, but if you like calcite, you might recognize it. It also has the triangular points. It doesn't occur so much as a prism as it does like dogtooth crystals. That's lots of calcite crystals. And what's really cool about calcite, it is one of the minerals that replaces living tissue. So if you have a fossilized clam, kind of look around, you might have some calcite in there. It's really cool. So, okay. Next, I'm going to talk about the hexagonal crystal system. I went on some roadside digs when I was younger and got some emerald pieces, and so I picked one out. I think that represented the system the best. I would probably consider this a green beryl, not really emerald, because of the color is pretty light. So let's see if I can get it to focus. All right. So here like I said, this is in the hexagonal system, so its prisms are actually hexagonal. And you can see the barrel shape there. It has the 6 sides.